Returning now to the West Bank and various communities in Israel like Ramle, Aker, Jerusalem, Yafo, and Lod, coexistence rallies and cleanup efforts are seemingly overwhelmed, unfortunately, by the number of violent clashes and continuing terror attacks. This including shooting attacks, stabbing attacks, car rammings, arson, and violent mobs targeting homes and individuals alike. With me to discuss, foreign media spokesperson for the Israel Police, Mickey Rosenfeld. Mickey, thank you so much for being with us. Let's talk numbers. How many arrests have been made? In what cities have most arrests been made, and for what?
Israeli police activities are continuing in all areas of the country as of now over the last 10 days of disturbances and violence that have taken place, basically from the areas of Akko in the north down to the Wadi Ara, central part of Israel towards Ramle Lod and down into Beersheba. Israeli police, including their operations with the large task force of border police units, have made over 1,050 arrests and have responded to incidents that have taken place where, unfortunately, Israeli Arab communities and people have taken to the street and have attempted to attack our police officers. We've had more than 256 police officers that have been injured in the violence, which has been directed exactly and totally against them. Our units were up against several serious incidents, including petrol bombs that were thrown at our officers. We also saw shots that were fired at our officers, and our units carefully worked tactically on the ground in order to respond to all of those incidents that took place on a wide scale.
So what can you speak specifically maybe about what police and Israeli Defense Forces are focusing on and how they're working to de-escalate as well as to restore order?
We're working on two levels at the moment. The first level is to have enough units and officers in the different places across the country. We've geographically looked around the different areas to make sure that our units are mobilized. At the same time, where we're responding to incidents that are taking place, and mainly during the evening from 5, 6 onwards, in and around the different Israeli Arab towns, we're also speaking and discussing to the leaders of the different areas and the communities, to the mayors as well, to try and calm the situation down, get the message out to the public not to take to the streets. Our units are responding whenever there are any types of incidents that are taking place. No differentiation, whether it's the north or the south or even Jerusalem.
So now it's been argued that Israeli forces are using a heavier hand with Arab rioters than with Jewish rioters. And we can agree that Jewish riots or Jewish-born riots have been few compared in number, but even reports of police nabbing an Arab man, say for a firebombing in Jaffa, that the victim's mother says could not have been Arab. Are police or security forces using an even hand, do you think, against all riots, Jewish and Arab?
There's no differentiation whatsoever. As soon as the law is broken, either by someone who is on the street who is Israeli, Jewish, or whether we're talking about thousands of people that have approached our police officers, Israeli Arabs, and have attacked them, our units are responding accordingly, and we respond in order to make sure that we can make arrests, minimize the number of people that will be injured, both from our police officers as well as the demonstrators themselves. And as far as we're concerned, we're looking ahead in terms of what needs to be done over the next 24 to 48 hours, including in the area of Lod, where there is a full curfew taking place in order to prevent larger scale incidents from happening. Let's not forget, until now, unfortunately, both one Israeli man was shot and killed by a number of protesters, and also an Israeli man who was stoned to death and passed away just yesterday.
All right, now, following the death of a Jewish man lynched in Lod, as you mentioned, Israel says that it will treat Arab riots as terror. What exactly does that mean? Does that bear on the use of deadly force that's authorized, or special detention powers, or charges in military court? How does that work? And again, are Jewish mobs being held to that same standard?
We're working closely together with the Ministry of Justice, and in all cases such as these, we're trying to find suspects and arrest them and bring them to court and justice as quick as possible. Our units are being very careful when they're on the ground. We know that there are individuals, and I'm referring to a lot of Israeli Arabs, that have weapons, so we have to be careful and make sure that our units are making sure that they don't get injured and officers don't get hurt during arrests that are made. We're also using Shabak intelligence, the ISA intelligence, and working closely together to try and find suspects and prevent any major terrorist attack from taking place within inside the communities. We also have to look ahead and think about what's going to happen when, of course, the IDF operation will be over in the Gaza Strip, and the Israeli police, after a certain significant amount of time, will leave the Israeli Arab areas what will happen with inside the communities. We need to bridge the gaps as quick as possible, as fast as possible. And that's why we're working on two levels, both a tactical level with enough units at the right place at the right time, and at the same time, also speaking to the leaders of the community and trying to ask them to be involved in getting the message that things should calm down as quick as possible.
All right, Mickey Rosenfeld, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.